Islam, Islam, Islam. This is Moorish thought, here to share knowledge, wisdom, and over an understanding into the science of self. I am your host, Latif. Oh, man. I think I'm Doctor Bey on this one. Let's see. We're going to stick with Latif Obadike Eel for Moorish thought. Okay. But I must properly present myself. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is a sovereign, living, ancient, Article 3 Moorish American Al-Moroccan Consular Court action. I am Chief Justice Durand at Murrell Bey in capitis diminutio, nolo, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. All Moors are the original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves. For we are the people who are the original indigenous, natural, divine, ancient empire, state of Morocco, and the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We hereby exercise all sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, non-pro time. We are the most ancient sovereign court, both at heaven and at earth. It is an honor, a blessing, and also a pleasure to be here, be present, and to share knowledge, wisdom, and over and understanding into the science of self. Scriptures say that, and I may not be quoting it, my people suffer for the lack of knowledge. I don't think that people who say that they're about that life know what they really suffer from. I have yet to see that through their actions that they comprehend their lack of knowledge. Which is the reason why I title this Moorish thought, because it's about thinking. It's about lifting your thoughts to infinite wisdom. The reason why you have to lift your thoughts is because your norm is below the realm, or let's just say it's in the murky ethers of the flesh. It's caught up into the 120 degrees of knowledge. And they don't have anywhere close to that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much about the physical that we can learn to make ourselves better that we don't utilize because we haven't been given right knowledge. We haven't been given right knowledge, fam. And let me give you a demonstration, a thought that I had that the Most High Mother and Father gave me, that Spirit rained down on me, that Allah has provided revelation to. In my struggles to submit to the Most High Mother and Father, to bow down, to come up out of her, to come up out of the earth, to come up out of the ways of the world. So profound, fam. Because when I do something, I go to the stream. When I was in my low, I went to what they call prison, or jail, or confinement for robbing banks, commercial stores, the mindset that I was in at that time, I would have robbed any entity. If it was the Mint and I had a way to get in, I would have got up in there and took what I wanted. Let me share one more thing with you so you can understand the depths of the low that I used to think. I told my best friend when I was younger, I won't mention no names, due to a lack of affiliation and dealings and communication. And I'm pretty sure they're happy that I don't mention their name. Anybody probably be happy I don't mention their name. They won't know parts of what I'm doing, okay, which is unfortunate, okay. But I told my best friend that, amen, paraphrasing, let him know how loyal I was, how committed I was, how dedicated I was to our friendship. And I'm young. Don't got no knowledge, no wisdom, no over-understanding. I said, man, if you got problems with the president and you got gut with the person in the office of president, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that back then, but I had to put that out there so y'all understand, overstand. I said, if you got problems with the president and you got some guns, we're gonna go deal with him. You know what I'm saying? They know nothing about no Secret Service. Those in the office of Secret Service, had no knowledge. I was just expressing my commitment, my loyalty, my friendship, And a child with that mindset, without the proper knowledge, is dangerous. Why you think I end up in the penitentiary? Why you think I end up in what they call the penitentiary? Where I had to get this straight. I had to reform. I had to evolve. I had to grow. I had to mature. I had to become a man, if I was going to survive in the world, not in the world, but how they say, be in the world, but not of the world, okay? I had to survive in the world. And I knew I wasn't going to make it if I stayed the same. If I thought like I thought when I was younger. You see, I was dangerous, like most people are dangerous. What makes you dangerous is you ignorant. Your ignorance, your deafness, your blindness, you know what I'm saying? Your lack of knowledge, okay? So, with that being said, as I have been traversing through the desert plains and burning sands and rocky soils, I come to learn a lot. when I'm refraining from the enemy's tools, the enemy's jobs, the enemy's system, the enemy's ways, the enemy's teachings, the enemy's thinking, I experience physical lack, but the more physical that I lack, the more spiritual I gain. And what I come to the conclusion of, that I'm surviving, I'm living, I'm moving forward always with just a little bit, just a little, okay? And I'm learning from surviving and functioning off a little, but with knowledge, because I couldn't did this without right knowledge. Because there's things that I'm taking that's sustaining me, particularly that mineral salt. You know what I'm saying? The only mineral salt that's natural on the market. Me and my peoples, you know what I'm saying? Got that. You see what I'm saying? And I look at how I was functioning when I had some means. You know what I'm saying? When I was working, you know what I'm saying, within the enemy system. When I say enemy, I'm talking about here. Their ways and beliefs and teachings are not conducive to my mental health. You know what I'm saying? Not an enemy where we shoot each other when we see each other. I don't have them kind of enemies. You know what I'm saying? I'm at peace. I am not at war. Okay? And even recognizing my enemies mentally, it's a mental thing. It's a mental battle. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not going to eat at your table. I'm not going to feed off of your teachings. I'm not going to feed off of your ways. But let's get to the physical as far as purchasing things. Because you know how we feel like we got to eat a certain kind of way? We feel like we got to have them steaks. We feel like we got to have that turkey. We got to have that chicken. We got to have that pork, even though pork is the cheapest thing on the market. But you can eat cheaper. You know what I'm saying? If you just eat ramen noodles. If you just eat potatoes. If you just eat bread and peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? Now, the reason why I say this is because what I looked at is, give you a scenario. You got a family of 4. You know what I'm saying? Let's say 2 parents and 2 children, a boy and a girl, and the parents, okay? Both parents working, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say they bringing in enough to, not enough, let's say they bringing in a nice amount, the average, you know what I'm saying? Let's say both of them making $20 an hour, okay? Which is decent, right? Okay. But they spending $300-400 a month on food, which is what we've been taught. It's what we've seen. We spend most what we have on food because we've been taught to eat a certain way. Where we get them teachings from? Outside our home. You know what I'm saying? Our parents learned it from the TV. Learned it from the images and the teachings and the indoctrination, the programming through the TV. For example, I'm going to give you an example of Muslims, particularly the Nation of Islam. They teach to eat 1 meal a day for the purpose of health. You know what I'm saying? Good health. So it means if they eat 1 meal a day, they saving a whole lot of money, ain't it? Because that's 2 meals you don't have to spend that day. So that's 14 meals a week. That's a lot of money. Where the average family eat 3 meals a day. 3 times or 2 times more than the Muslims, okay? So I'm looking at it, dang. Through this journey, I learned that I could have saved a lot of money. Let's go back to this family. Let's say this family ate 1 meal a day and saved the money that they would have spent for the other 2 meals. Can you imagine how much you can save within 6 months? How much you can save within a year? And then when you calculate that, look at how much money you got to invest in a money-making project. You know what I'm saying? Because you got talent, you got skills, you got abilities, you got potential. You know what I'm saying? The problem is our parents, most parents, don't teach their children to be independent. They hand down the curse that was given to them. That curse is the knowledge to eat 3 meals a day, which is unnecessary. But the average household thinks that it's a requirement. You can't live without 3 meals a day. That's a lie. So when I say we live in a lie, you live in a lie, in that aspect is what I mean. There's other aspects too that we're not knowledgeable of, that you're not knowledgeable of. You know what I'm saying? And some things I'm not knowledgeable of that I can learn from people who have the knowledge that I don't have. So when I say my people suffer for the lack of knowledge, I mean that literally. Because you're up under an indoctrination. You're up under a program. You're up under a teaching that's misguiding you and keeping you down, keeping you from rising with the cost of rent, with the cost of food, with the cost of phones, with the cost of other aspects, clothes, you know, that you got to purchase. You think you got to purchase, you know what I'm saying? But you end up purchasing. It's a waste of money. Man, I know people that will eat out at a fast food 2 or 3 times a week. And you know, 1 meal at a fast food, you can feed a family of 4 with that money. With that $20, with that $15. You can buy a bag of potatoes for $5, no, $3.50, a 5-pound bag for $3.50 or $2.50, $3.50, okay? You can get a thing of noodles for about, what, $6, $7, $8? You know what I'm saying? So that's almost 15 right there. So you can buy some vegetables, like an onion and a potato, you know what I'm saying? And you can cook a meal with them, some fried potatoes, you know what I'm saying? And some noodles with the onions and tomatoes and you seasoning on it, you know what I'm saying? And you can eat well. But see, some of y'all frown upon that because you think that's eating low. So you see where the word uppity come in at? Some of y'all uppity and don't know y'all uppity. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all trying to be uppity. You're trying to be like the Joneses. You're trying to imitate what other people do when you don't got it like that. So the wisdom in this message would be to learn how to survive on very little and save your money. You know what I'm saying? For a greater, better day. You know what I'm saying? That day when you can take and invest and make more money. Because a lot of y'all got ideas, y'all got talents and skills, but don't have no funds. Because you're spending it somewhere else unnecessarily and you don't realize it. That's why they say it's important to learn how to budget your money. Some of y'all don't even know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? With what you have. So let me ask you a question. Is it better to eat 3 meals a day and then spend your money on what you want versus what you need and not have no money until next payday and to start all over where you end up with no money again or very little, you know what I'm saying? Just enough to last you until you get paid again? Or would it be better, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't forget how I asked the first question. Thinking so much. Let me start over. Would it be better, the 3 meals a day. Okay, that's the 3 meals a day. Or eat 1 meal a day, save the money from the other 2, and stack your money. In other words, is it better to go through the week with barely getting by because you're eating, I'm going to say, so-called good, you eat more than what you need to, or would it, and not have no money, or would it be best to eat 1 meal a day and have money saved, looking for a greater, better future? You know what I'm saying? See, that's the difference in the teachings. You know, it's kind of like the rich. You know how the rich dress like they poor, some of them, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't invest their money in looking good, you know what I'm saying? They invest their money in create more money. You see what I'm saying? Because they're not trying to impress nobody. Then you can't say you ain't trying to impress nobody. You living in the hood with $200 shoes. You living in the hood with $100 shoes. You living in the hood with $75 shoes. You living in the hood with $50 shoes. You see what I'm saying? It's too much to be spending on shoes. But guess what? When we young, we complain about not having the Nikes and the Adidas, at least my era. You know what I'm saying? Because we had to wear the Pro Wings from Payless. We had to wear the Chuck Norrises. You know what I'm saying? We had to wear the off-brand, which gonna cost $10, $15. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't like that. Why? Because we seen other children that had better. So we living our life trying to be like the Joneses. And since we did it when we was younger, don't think you're not doing it now. Because what you do when you're younger and you form a habit, you bring a habit with you in your older years. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it means by you haven't matured yet. You still acting like a child because you're thinking like a child and because you understood as a child. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you haven't put childish things away to become the man and woman that you have the potential to be. Okay? That's just food for thought, fam. You know, something to think about. But the problem is we're not taught to reflect on our thinking. We weren't taught to reflect on our behavior. We weren't taught to reflect on our actions. So if we're not taught to reflect on these things, don't that sound like the devil trying to hide something from you? Don't want you to reflect? Because if you don't reflect, you will never see that you're spending too much. You know what I'm saying? You're not only spending too much on shoes. You're not only spending too much on clothes. You're not only spending too much on food, clothes, shoes. You know what I'm saying? You're spending too much in all these areas. You know what I'm saying? And you're not mindful of how to budget your money to where you could get by and still have money put up. Y'all know y'all experience rainy days all the time. And when you have a rainy day, what do? You'll go try to rob your mama for her savings. You go try to rob your daddy for his savings. You try to rob your uncle, your aunts, your cousins, your sisters, and your brothers for their savings, all because you're being foolish. You're being unwise about how to circulate what you have, how to budget what you have. Is that right? No, it sounds like it's selfish to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's different scenarios. It don't apply to every situation, okay? Let's say you budget the best way you could, and you just happen to have to spend or circulate some money on your vehicle because something went wrong. And that ate up 2 weeks of savings. So it's only logical there's going to come a time that you may have to ask somebody for something. I'm not saying it's wrong to ask anybody for something. I'm only saying that it's unwise when you haven't put forth your best effort to do the best with what you got. Thinking outside the box. Okay? And that's why my ways are so unorthodox. That's why the things I say sound so far out-fetched. If that's how you said it. I can't recall right now. You know, that's why it sounds weird, it sounds strange, it sounds strict, it sounds unbelievable, it sounds preposterous. But if you really take time out to listen and comprehend what's being said, what's the words that are coming out my mouth, you'll understand, overstand, and then you'll learn to be wise with your money. It's not really money. It's monopoly money. It's not real. See, when I say things like that, y'all be like, man, what did we talk about? See, that's your problem too. You quit to judge people for the things they say that sounds outside your comprehension. You know, instead of thinking first and asking, why did he say that? Why did she say that? That don't sound right, but they come off like they know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They say the wise man doubteth often and changes his mind. The fool is obstinate. He doubteth not. He knoweth all things, but his own ignorance. That's why I always express to keep an open mind, because you've been lied to. You know what I'm saying? You'll laugh at somebody speaking the truth, you know what I'm saying? But embrace somebody that's lying to you, because you don't know the truth. But you don't know that you don't know the truth. So who's wise and who's foolish? I've been trying to help some of y'all keep from being exposed with dirt on your head, dirt on your face, and being embarrassed and shameful for what you've been doing all your life. But I understand and understand that when you've been lied to for so long, it's not easy to open up and accept anything new, even if it's the truth. So you have to go through a process with yourself, because when you hear the truth, it's going to run through your mind so much that you have to take the extra effort to push it all the way in the back of your mind, because you don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? It's throwing you off. It's making you feel a certain kind of way, you know? See, that's a person that's in denial. They're not looking for the truth anyway. They comfortable in the lie. They comfortable in the indoctrination. They comfortable in the programming. And you watch movies and shows every day that reveal the truth to you, but you think it's just a movie. You think it's just entertainment. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know how the powers work. You don't know the agreement between the devil and God, or God and the devil. You know what I'm saying? You don't know from the story of Job that God gave the devil respite until the day of judgment. He gave the devil permission to reign until judgment day come, and he gonna hit you on your head. You know what I'm saying? So if you understand and understand the wisdom behind the story of Job, then you can understand and understand how the so-called powers that used to be was able to lie to you through the television and lie to you through the media, social media, and lie to you in the food system, which they call school system. You know what I'm saying? Until the day comes when they judge for what they did. Judgment day is here. You know what I'm saying? It's been here, and it's continuing on against those who used to be in power. But because you are deaf, dumb, and blind, you're not tapped into the truth. You don't know that this is going on in heaven. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. Which is the reason why you have to, you don't have to, but that's the reason why you fall in the category of being deaf, dumb, and blind, whether you like it or not. The truth hurts. I said the truth hurts. One more time. The truth hurts because it's stern. It doesn't care about the lie that's in your head. It's designed to kill and destroy the lie. It's designed to knock the brains out of falsehood. Because when truth on the scene, falsehood flees. That's why in law, the first one that leaves the battlefield loses. So if you can't stand firm on what you believe and endure in what you believe, you know what I'm saying? It means you're working with a lie. But the beauty in it, standing for what you believe, as you battle with evil or those you may think is evil, you know what I'm saying? You can learn the truth. You can learn the error of your ways. You could learn that you had a misperception and that you've been living a lie because you was being what you told and not what you know. Man may believe what others say, but thus he never knows. If man should know, he himself must be what he knows. And the only way you're going to be what you know, you have to learn what it is and how to do something in order to stand on that knowledge and be that knowledge. Not just talking it, not just defending a teaching because it's what you've been taught. Because that's what most of y'all say. I'm a Christian because my mama was a Christian. My daddy was a Christian. My grandmother was a Christian. My great-grandmother was a Christian. My great-great-grandfather was a Christian. You know what I'm saying? We was raised in the church. The church has always been in our family. I guess it would be if that's what they taught during slavery and they didn't have a choice to practice anything else. It was illegal. They made it against the law because you ain't always had a religious freedom. Okay? You ain't always had that. You didn't know that, did you? You know what I'm saying? Let's say you had it, but somebody stripped you of it. You know what I'm saying? It made you practice a thing, made you behave a certain way, made you think a certain way, not only about life, but about yourself, because they lied to you about who you are. They didn't tell you the truth. The truth would have set you free. And that's why you still bound, because you believe a lie and you carry on that lie. And with that lie, you will never be free, fam. With that being said, I'm going to make this a short demonstration, a short message, a 38-minute short message, or it may turn out to be a 40-minute short message, no more than 45. It depends on if I get loose again. But I want to go outside. It's nice. I want to enjoy the weather. I just want to share my knowledge, wisdom, over understanding. And I hope that it came off in a way where it was inspiring to you, it was motivational to you, and it was encouraging to you. Because I only want the best for you because I want the best for myself. You know what I'm saying? See, I had to take this truth and knock the brains out of the falsehood that I believed in. I had to take this truth and I had to cause the falsehood in my mind to flee. I had to take this truth and clean up my life. But I had to become a man to do that. I couldn't do it as a little boy. I couldn't do it as a child. I couldn't do it thinking like a child or understanding like a child. Okay? I had to mature. I had to grow up. I had to put everything out in front of me and look at it and see it for what it really is versus what someone tried to make me believe. Because we seen our mama struggle. We seen our daddy struggle. We seen our aunts and uncles struggle. So why in the hell we gonna turn around and struggle just like them? And you don't do better. You can't do better in the same system that they try to do better in. And that's another area we're going wrong. We're not thinking outside the box. It was the same system that held them down that's holding you down. You just don't see that you're being held down because you think you got more than what your parents had. You have more of a lie, and understand that times change. Of course, back then, when the value of the dollar was different, the conditions was different. Where the value of the dollar has changed today, so the conditions gonna change. You ain't did no more than them. You've been manipulated to believe something that wasn't true. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't understand the value of the dollar and inflation. Smoke on that, fam. With that being said, I wish y'all the best. I hope y'all the best. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to continue to give myself the best. And as long as I do that, then I can get on here and I can share the best. Peace, love, and happiness, fam. You have a great rest of y'all Wednesday. Have a great rest of y'all Wednesday. Peace, love, and happiness. This is Moorish Thought, here sharing knowledge, wisdom, and over and understanding into the science of self. Peace.